I hate the way I spend my time in summer now, says Gleemer in their song Dragging. And honestly, there are times in summer when I really feel like that. Today, we're diving into the fear of missing out and how it shapes the way we feel about time, how we spend it, and the pressure to keep up with others. Fear of missing out, or FOMO as I will say throughout this whole episode, is that anxious feeling you get when you're convinced that something exciting is happening somewhere you're not. Maybe your friends are out and you're at home scrolling through their photos, feeling like you missed out on a once in a lifetime experience. This feeling has been a big part of my life, and it's often the reason I've packed my schedule with concerts or events. As I said in a previous episode, this is how I end up seeing the same bands several times in a year. I want to avoid that feeling of missing something. Like right now, as I am recording this episode, I am seeing all the posts on Instagram from the When We Were Young festival. All my favorite bands from my teenage years like My Chemical Romance, Pierce the Veil, Silverstein, Chiodos were playing, and I'm definitely feeling emo FOMO. FOMO, if you will. But this feeling, for me, it really increases in the summer. So to go back to Gleemer's line, I hate the way I spend my time in summer now. I chose this line because it hits so close to home. We grew up with summer ingrained as the season of freedom and fun, a break from everything, and a time for adventure. When we're kids, summer means a couple months off, visiting family, spending days with friends, going on trips, just exploring life. But as we get older, this huge chunk of carefree time disappears. Sure, we can take breaks, but life doesn't pause for the seasons the way it once did. But also, we can just choose when to take those breaks. But summer is just the nicest time to do it, isn't it? For me, this has made summer FOMO intense. I love summer and feel alive in the warmth and sunlight. I really thrive on it. During winter, doing nothing doesn't bother me as much. There's no pressure to do things when the weather is miserable, and I hate winter. But when the sun finally comes out and the days are long, I feel this deep need to do something. I want to explore, see people, and be outside until late. And when I don't, I feel like I've wasted a precious day, a day that I will never get back. So, with me hating winter, you would think I get seasonal depression. But I can feel even worse during summer. So, I guess it's just depression at that point. As I got into adult life, I also feel this FOMO more and more during the weekend. You only get 2 days at the end of the week to relax, but also do things you enjoy. Do you get it sometimes when you have plans for Saturday and Sunday and then realize that you didn't have time to just rest? So if you don't do anything, you feel like you missed out on living good experiences. But if you do, you can feel so drained and realize that you didn't get a chance to just rest before going back to work. It's just so hard to find the right balance. And for me, this constant urge to do everything is overwhelming. I'll think about doing a million different things and get stuck on my couch trying to decide where to start and what's possible. I'll try to plan out my day. I will go to X, but before I have to do Y, and then I will wonder if I still have time for Z. I'll overthink it to the point where I do nothing. It's like I'm paralyzed by my own FOMO. FOMO can feel impossible to win against. It's like a double-edged sword. If I do nothing, I feel like I've wasted time. But if I do too much, I get exhausted, which leads to burnout and a need for rest. Then I end up back at square one, missing out while I recover. Everyone has their own limits. For some, a big night out feels like too much. For others, it's energizing. Finding balance is tricky, but it's important to remind ourselves that life isn't all about big events. Sometimes joy is in the quiet and unplanned moments. And it's really ironic because when you're having fun, time flies and you can still feel like you missed something. I get to the end of July and think, wow, it's already August. Where did the time go? There is this strange feeling of loss, even though I was out there doing things, enjoying myself. Slowing down, reflecting on memories, and realizing you don't have to experience everything in one season is important. And I need to remind myself of that constantly. I don't want to sound like a boomer, but social media makes FOMO so much worse. You see everyone posting the highlight of their lives. People at festivals, on vacations, on hikes, sipping drinks on terraces. Meanwhile, you might be at home, watching it all through a screen and feeling like you're doing nothing while everyone else is living life to the fullest. But we all know everyone only posts what they want us to see. No one is sharing the moments they are bored on their couch, feeling aimless. But recently, though, I've kind of seen a shift. People are starting to romanticize slower, quieter moments, staying it, cozying up, and embracing what is the opposite of FOMO, JOMO, the joy of missing out. I actually love this trend. There's value in enjoying the days where you do nothing but relax, even if it's just watching your favorite show on the couch under a blanket. JOMO has really changed my point of view, even when I still didn't put a word to it. But just realizing that a day of doing nothing is actually not wasted. I used to hate missing events because I feared I would miss some once in a lifetime moment. Now it's easier to say no when I need rest because I know that I might feel overwhelmed or drained and won't even enjoy it. I even have no problem saying it to the people who invite me instead of looking for excuses because people now understand it more and more. And they would rather me staying at home than pretending, or even worse, not being able to pretend and killing the mood. So, without any guilt, I stay at home with a cozy meal, mostly pasta, catch up on the show, and know that I'm not really missing much. And honestly, for most events, if it's just a night out, you're not going to miss the party of the century. There will always be more nights to enjoy. But summer still gets to me. Living in a place like Munich, where warm days are limited, it feels like each day of summer is precious. We only have so many summers in our lives, just as many as we have years to live left. And when they're gone, they're gone. I don't even need a big vacation. I just want to make the most of these sunny days before they disappear. Each summer, I feel time slipping away, like I'm not moving at the same pace as the seasons. But at least, I am lucky that Munich is such an amazing city in the summer, with lots of gardens, bars, and even lakes not so far away. This is actually one of the reasons I know I will live in the city as long as I can. I am not afraid of getting older because of things like wrinkles, white hair, or just aging. Maybe I'm lying a bit, but this is not a big worry of mine. What I'm afraid of is getting to the end and realizing I didn't really live, that I didn't make the most of the time I had. Feeling like, yes, I was alive, as in my body was working, but was I really living and making the most of it? I am not afraid of dying, I am afraid of dying with regrets. And what about you? When do you feel FOMO the most? Is it during certain season, like summer, or is it more tied to specific events like festivals, or even just a random Friday night? And when you feel it, do you think it's bringing something positive into your life, pushing you to go after experiences you truly want? Or is it creating stress, making it harder to enjoy where you are now? What would happen if you stopped to question those moments of FOMO? If you could just press pause and ask, is this experience or this pressure to be somewhere else actually making my life better? Or if I didn't go, would it really be so bad? And maybe consider what you've already done this year or even in your life. Have you taken any time to let yourself really soak in those memories? Think about the things you've actually experienced, the moments you didn't miss out on, the things you might have forgotten in the whirlwind of chasing more. FOMO has a way of making us focus on what we don't have, but what about the incredible things you've already done? What would it look like to let those be enough? Thank you for listening to this episode. And I realized that at the end of my episodes, I say that I hope that you can relate to it. And I am sorry because I actually hope you don't. However, I know a lot of people do, especially if you are still here until the end. So if you do, though, I hope it reminds you that it's okay to slow down, to rest, and to live at your own pace. There's no right way to experience life, and missing one event or summer day doesn't mean you've missed out forever. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review or share your favorite lyrics with me. I would love to hear them. You can also follow me on Instagram at IntoTheCavePod. I will be back next week with new hard-hitting lyrics. Be kind to yourself. Bye!